guys, this is Brittany from Ink and Papyrus, and today we're going to be making these faux wax seals. I think they're very cute. All you need is paper, hot glue, a hot glue gun, and some embellishments of your choice. Here we're using plant material, leaves, dried flowers, seed beads, regular beads, threads, anything, buttons, anything you want to decorate, and then have some paint or something pretty that you can use to line around the actual seal to kind of make it pop. I think you can use these in a variety of ways. I was thinking of using them on my cover as kind of, not this one necessarily, but you could use these as a closure as such, put them on the cover, like any way you want to decorate. Use them on envelopes, etc. So what we're going to be doing is you're going to be starting off with paper of your choice, and here I have some scrapbook paper. This is a great way to bust through some of your scraps, some book pages. Alright, let's get to it. So, as I'm sure you guys know by now, these punches, finicky punches, always work better when you actually stack a couple pieces of paper. If it's really thin, it tends not to work so well. Like 3 of these thin book pages is kind of the charm. But feel free to use any kind of paper you'd like. I think honestly some of the thicker papers work better. But I do like the look of the book pages. So what you're gonna do, take your paper, right? You can paint these, you can decorate them any way you like. I have some inked up paper already. Alright, and let's do, I love this. I have some dried flowers here. You can use, if some of these are too thick, you can just take a portion of them. You can take off some of the petals. Should be okay. So I think the blue and gold would look pretty. So what you want to do is make a really thin base here. Look like a thin base of glue. Now you'll notice there are a couple of different kinds of glue sticks. These tend not to work so well. I've noticed they can really cause the design to kind of be opaque, as you can see here. I wasn't thrilled with this one. So really try and use the clear glue sticks, and I think one of the tricks to this is not laying on the glue so thick. So make your base, right, and this is a thin base. This is just to get whatever you're putting down as flat as possible. You don't want it sticking up too far, or else you're going to have to lay down a lot of glue to seal it. And that's, I think, where you end up getting these opaque designs. Okay. And that's okay, the hangover. You can leave it as is, or we can just cut. Whoa! Getting crazy over here. That's hot glue for you. I'm just gonna trim this. I don't like all the hangover. Okay, and do as I say, not as I do. As you can see, it's not really flat. It's not as flat as I like. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I think the best way, it's hard to do this right without like burning your hands off, but I like the skewer. So hold the skewer, okay, and you want to hold the circle firm, okay, And now you want to kind of just make a preliminary go round around the edges. And just a thin bead, like thin, constant gluing, I guess you'd say, is the best way. You don't want to have to go over this like a ton of times, or else again you're gonna kind of get this opaque design, and that's okay, but it's not really what I prefer. Okay, so you can do it any which way you want. You can go around and then kind of go like this. What I would caution you about doing is if you go kind of, so you'll see when you glue, you don't want to kind of whip in, I don't know like what the right term is, but if you go over the same section too many times and kind of move the glue all around it seems like that's when you get a problem with air bubbles. If you do get air bubbles, you can take this skewer and kind of pop them. If you do, you're gonna have to kind of fill in that little pocket immediately. You don't want to add too much glue back. Or you can leave the air bubbles as is. I think depending on the design, sometimes it kind of adds to the charm. Let me find this. Nah. Air bubbles. What can I do? We're working with hot glue here. Okay. So obviously you want to be doing this on some kind of paper. Wax paper, parchment paper is fine. Again, don't whip back and forth. You're going to end up with a lot of air bubbles. If some of your design is sticking out, that's okay. You don't have to necessarily go over it, like cover it completely with hot glue, because then you'll just end up with a really thick layer and again end up kind of obscuring your design. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry. After it dries, we're gonna come in there and coat the edges in some paint or some of this. I have this really pretty gold, like gilder's wax that I love. I think it makes the design really pop. So that's what we're gonna be doing. Okay, so let's try, so we've done dried flowers. Let's do, I love these seed beads. Let's do some seed beads. And again, use your imagination. You can put down whatever your heart desires. Again, like if you want to use it within the journal, you may want to use material that you can really like lay flat. If you're using these on a journal cover, who cares? Make it as thick and meaty as you want. All right. I even put some brads in my stash. I think, you know, again, that's kind of like, it's a little thick, but if you kind of lay it flat, I thought this was really cute. This little star. Okay. Why don't we get some around the edges there? Okay. I hope you guys are doing well today. It's crazy. The world is going crazy. Very sad things going on. So sometimes we just need a little reprieve and to like play with our papers and our craft supplies. Okay, so now we have everything kind of laid flat. Again, take your skewer as such. Okay. All right, go around. I always go around the edges first. I think that's probably the best place to start. Okay, now these seed beads are gonna kind of stick up. If you want them totally covered, that's fine. I think if you just kind of like put enough glue around them to secure them in place, that's fine too. Again, the thicker it is, the more kind of opaque your design is going to be, so keep that in mind. Okay, if you have an unevenness, you kind of have with the star, you can kind of just carefully go over it again with your glue gun. That will kind of like melt it back down a little bit and allow you to reshape it and kind of smooth the surface a little bit. Remember what I said though about the air bubbles. You don't want to go over it too many times and whip a bunch of air into it. Okay. All right. If you missed any areas, it's fine. Go back over it as best you can. Pretty smooth and even. If you have a little bit of extra glue remaining on the edges, that's fine. We can cut it down afterwards. I'll show you how. You don't want to do too much cutting or else you're going to end up with an uneven circle. But, you know, a little trimming is fine. It's better than having portions, oh, look at me, having portions on the edges that aren't covered. A little overhang, we can deal with a little overhang. Okay, so, and again, this is why you're using paper, wax paper, something under here. All right, so let's use some fabric bits. I think this would be fun. I have a little lace here. A lace, okay. Thin layer of glue. Put your lace down, okay. Very good. All right. So now we're gonna look and see. I have a butterfly around here. So let's see. These little charms are perfect. I think they're just adorable. You could ink this up if you wanted. We're gonna put the gilding paste on at the end, so not a big deal. Put it directly on. I think that might be more secure. Okay, perfect. All right, and in between, get rid of these gluey blobs, or else they're just gonna end up entangling themselves in the current seal you're working on. It's a huge pain to try and get them out. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. So, refill. I have to say, when you're not burning the living daylights out of your hands, this is actually really relaxing. See? Do as I say, not as I do. I'm supposed to be using our skewer. Why a skewer? I don't know. It's the first sharp object I could find that I don't care if it gets destroyed. Okay, so, you know, the butterfly is kind of thick, raised. You don't have to cover it all the way. I have pockets here that aren't filled. Okay, I like that. Oh, the other thing you can do is put a little bit of pigment or glitter in these. Oh my gosh, I think that would just look just magical. Okay, who's ready for Christmas? I am. Alright, so let's make a little festive seal. Who knows, maybe we'll have Christmas journals made in time this year to use it on. Maybe like a little closure or to seal an envelope, something fun like that. Okay, that looks very festive to me. Okay. Get all those gluey bits off. Okay. I think this looks very festive. Again, it's kind of raised. It's gonna be hard to cover entirely with glue. That's okay. It's already stuck, half stuck. Let's just do it. Try and get like these kind of embellishments. Just try and get them kind of as flat as you can. Okay. Skewer. Glue. Okay. Again, let's see. We have a little air bubble here. You can like melt that uneven area back down. Smooth it back out. It's okay, they don't have to be perfect. I think some of the imperfections lend to their charm, right? What wax seal that you've seen is totally even and totally perfect. Look how cute. Okay, so this is the overhang I was talking about. Trim. Okay, you don't want to trim too much or else you're going to end up with an uneven circle and you're just going to keep cutting and cutting and cutting to try and even circle back out again. Don't do that. Just get rid of the overhang. It's okay if it's not perfect. We're going to add some gilding wax or paint or whatever you have along the edges, and it's any kind of like uneven areas, it's okay. That'll take care of that and kind of draw attention away from those. How cute. So let's see. So we use seed beads, we've used little brads, we've used dried flowers, charms, just little embellishments we have. I have an owl here, and I kind of wanted to make a spooky Halloween one. So I have Halloween paper here. Don't do that, guys. Pick it up before it's ready. Alright, so I'm gonna show you guys. Alright, I ruined it. I ruined a lot of things. Okay. We're gonna melt this back down and pretend like that never happened. Okay. Oh boy. I'm starting to wonder if this tutorial should be called how not to DIY faux wax seals. Okay, alright. I think we've saved it. Okay, so don't touch them until they're dried, guys. Don't touch until they're dried. Alright, this gobbledygook here, get that up so it doesn't dry in the seal. Got it. Okay, just take the glue balls and move them off the field, would ya? Alright. Okay, we're gonna make a spooky one. Alright, so definitely want to incorporate that owl. I think a nice gold flower would be perfect. These are fake flowers, but who cares? Okay. It's marigolds. Okay. I'm gonna do this and lay it flat. See, guys, you can use whatever you want. Use your imagination. Okay. Trim the overhang. Okay, all right, so skewer. All right, now you're gonna want to go all the way around, Okay. I think for these charms and like designs that are embellishments that are a little bit thicker, going around the edges once and then up and down, back and forth is kind of the way to go. There we go. Now, if you have an actual wax seal, it wouldn't work so well on here because you have a charm here, but if you have an actual wax seal, and you have something really thin, like I just put a leaf under here, for example, you can, when the glue is not wet, but it's still pliable, you can stamp the wax seal on, hold it for a couple of seconds, release it, and then once the seal imprint dries, you can actually take some of this gilding paste and rub it on your over the design to make that design pop a little bit more. Okay, so we got that. Kind of just takes practice, honestly. It's just a matter of doing this over and over again, trying to get the glue right and not clumpy, and learning just exactly how much glue to apply. It can kind of be a pain. Like I said, guys, they're wax seals. They're not supposed to be perfect. Like, the imperfections add to their charm, okay? Just don't panic. It's not perfect. It'll look more complete once we get gilding wax or paint around the sides, I promise. Alright, we're just trimming the overhang. Make sure, again, don't cut off too much, else you're just gonna keep chopping your circle till there's nothing left, and your circle will be broken, irreparably so. Okay, sorry with the Debbie Downer, but don't cut too much. Okay. Like the little fabric hanging out, that's okay. Let it hang. It's alright. Alright, my owl is drying. I'm not going to touch it and ruin it this time. Let's do, we haven't done any book pages yet. Let's do some book page. Let's do, oh, this beautiful flower. So I have this really, really pretty flower here. We could do, okay. So for flowers that are really thick like this, you have to find a way to kind of thin them. You can just use the petals. You can, I'm going to cut into the flower just so I can kind of spread it along the page with a piece of paper here. Okay, and just kind of like open the blossom up. All right, and we're going to accentuate the whatchamacallit here with a couple of seed beads. This will look really neat. So again, make whatever you're using, make it as flat as possible. Okay. I think the flowers like this and like things you really want to pop, a paper with a plain background is probably the way to go. You don't want a paper that has a bunch of images on it that's going to detract away from the object that you're putting in it. Okay, so I'm going to trim back the stem here, the first layer of the stem, because we do want it to be, you know, relatively flat. Okay, trim, oops, trim, trim, trim. Okay. Some tweezers would probably be good for this. I don't have any on me. So let me I'm gonna just secure the stem first. Okay. Okay. I think these seed beads are adorable. Okay, glue your seed beads down. Okay. Skewer. Oh, you know, let's get rid of some of that overhang first. Okay. If some of your design starts kind of coming up, like as you're going over with the glue, just kind of nudge the glue under whatever it is that you're trying to glue down. Okay. Alright, I think that's gonna look really cool when it's dry. Just trying to even it out a little bit, which is near impossible. You should probably just leave it alone and we will cut the overhang after it dries. Okay. Alright, let's do one more. I love this elephant charm. I've been waiting to use it. I think we should use this pink paper that I have. Okay. I think this blue fabric would be perfect. So we're gonna make a base for our fabric. Okay. Oh my gosh, do you guys see that bug? That is the danger of picking leaves and plants outside to use for your projects. You are destined to bring a bunch of bugs in the house. Okay. And we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Camera malfunction. This is my first video. I'm pretty sure no one is ever gonna see this anyways. Okay, so working on the elephant. If you're using a charm, make sure you apply the glue directly to the charm. Okay. I think for him, I'm gonna put some little seeds and like little goodies around him. Okay. I get a good variety. Okay. All right. So I'm pretty happy with that. Get a skewer. Right. Around the edges. And in between. Remember kind of the constant pressure applied to the glue gun as opposed to like just, I don't know, you know what I mean. Constant even pressure as opposed to just squirting the glue gun and kind of making piles. Don't be trigger happy, guys. Control yourselves. Okay. Nice even pressure, constant flow of glue. All right. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna let that dry. And while we let that one dry, I'm gonna show you guys how I've been gilding these. So, like we had talked about earlier, you know, get rid of any overhang you don't want. I think this would be a really cute embellishment for Christmas. I think it would look kind of nicer with like a little glitter in it or something. I love the way my owl turned out. Can I just say? It's all trial and error, guys. I think the blander background with something behind and then a focus is primo. Okay. You're going to want to take a thin brush. It doesn't have to be gilding wax. Use paint. Whatever you want to use. I don't think ink would work very well on the hot glue. Something paint. Like paint. Okay. Alright, like your toothpaste. Squeeze from the bottom. Okay. There we go. Okay, it doesn't have to be around the sides necessarily. I like to have a little bit of the gold wax in front on the design where it's easy to see. I think it really makes things pop. I'm just gonna line these. Again, they don't have to be perfect. They're wax seals. Faux wax seals. I think. Yeah, I like it. Isn't it cute? Very spectacular. Very this time of year. I'm not as happy with this one. If you can see, okay, so it looks very opaque to me over this. Like, as you can see the center of the flower really well, and then the petals, the red petals look really opaque. That's because in order to cover them, you need to use multiple layers of glue. You can barely see the fabric underneath. So I'm really not as happy with this one, and that's kind of what you get when you use thicker kind of embellishments. I would really stick to the thinner things like the brad, the sea beads, small buttons, dried flowers. Here I used some palm fronds that I got from outside my house. Just very basic, like up against some book pages, and gilded it. And honestly, this is one of my favorite, but I think the thin embellishments or thin things that you can lay down that sit flat up against the paper kind of turn out the best. That's just my own personal opinion. If you guys figure out ways to, or maybe using a different glue where you can seal thicker items without getting that opaqueness, I would love to hear from you guys what techniques you're using and how you got to do that. Forget about the butterfly. Love the butterfly. I think the butterfly charm turned out really well too. The charms should work fine as long as they're really thin, or pretty thin, and lay flat up against the paper. I love these. Can't wait to use these in my projects and some of the current journals I'm working on. Alright, so I'm going to keep gilding these. Do Mr. Elephant, I think is ready. Mr. Elephant has a little overhang here. We're going to trim that, and all is going to be right with the world. It is okay. So I hope you guys are having a good day. I hope you guys are working on a bunch of awesome projects. I don't know if you're still working on Halloween stuff or you moved on to Christmas crafting. I cannot wait. It's like my favorite thing about this time of the year. But I hope you're having a wonderful day, whatever you're doing. If you haven't, if this is the first time you're seeing my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'm just getting started and have so much more in the pipeline, and I can't wait to hear your comments and hear back from you guys. So have a great rest of your day. Bye!